Tears of the Kingdom keeps surprising me every day with its endless possibilities. I can't wait to eventually all show you how absolutely crazy speedruns are going to be. And a lot of people enjoyed my last 10 tips video, so I thought I'll show you 7 more, this time more advanced tips. Once again, I'm going to try to stay as spoiler-free as possible, but this time I will use one game mechanic that only becomes available when you've completed the Rito Village storyline. Additionally, once again, you might see some items that you haven't seen yet, so consider yourself warned in that regard. With that in mind, let's get into the first tip. So for my first tip this time, I'm once again going to show you a contraption that you should favorite in your auto-build menu. I personally only have 2 favorites, the auto-build wind bomb I talked about last time, and this one, what I refer to as the Hoverstick. This one uses 3 parts, so it's a little bit more expensive than the auto-build wind bomb, but it's very powerful for different reasons. So this one uses 2 fans and a steering stick, and it has become quite popular, but I will show you a little bit of a nuance to it that makes this more powerful than other versions of this build that I've seen multiple times. So a lot of people seem to build this sort of Hoverstick with 2 fans facing down, which is still pretty good, but having these fans point forward a little bit makes it quite a bit more powerful, as it gives you much more forward momentum, as you can see here. But there is a little bit of a nuance to it to actually make this possible, because these fans are not quite in 45 degrees. It works a little bit differently. If you try and put them in 45 degrees, what will happen is essentially you won't really get the same speed with it, right? So in this next clip, I'm going to show you how to actually build it. Now let me show you how I built my version of this Hoverstick. Keep in mind, build whatever you want. Attach like 700 fans to a steering stick if you want to, but this is what I had the best results with. Once again, basically, if you have both fans on the ground like this next to the steering stick, you'll get a lot of height, but not as good of a forward momentum, and that's what we're gonna fix. So 45 degrees also isn't great, because it makes the takeoff a little bit more annoying. So what we do is we place one of the fans on the ground, and then try to alter the angle. It didn't get altered here. I moved the fan back a little bit, and here you can see it fell over. It didn't stay exactly on 45 degrees, and that's what we want. Now we're gonna attach our steering stick to the tilted fan, and what I like doing here is I like to basically have the stick on the ground, have it attached to it as low as possible, okay? So it attaches, and now all we need to do is match the other fan. This is easily done by doing exactly this, right? The steering stick essentially falls over because of the weight of the fan, and then you attach the other one to it, try to match it relatively evenly. It didn't actually get attached here, so here we go. And this is a pretty decent version of it. It's not perfect, you can take your time and build an even better one. I'm basically taking my, trying to go a little bit faster here to explain what I want to explain. Once you have this build done, you should test fly it and see if it behaves the way you want it to, and if it does, then you can save it as a favorite in auto build. Now, this is how exactly how you want to take off. You want the fans facing the ground, and as soon as you press control here, hold the stick back. That's how you get the best results basically for taking off. So I'm gonna press control and hold the stick back. It's initially gonna try taking off, but because Link is leaning back, we get better control of it. And see, look, see this? We are basically only flying forward right now. Link is tilted forward. The fans are blasting us where we want to go. If you press the stick back, you can get more height. You can go left and right. You get absolutely amazing control. Once again, you can get height with it if you want to, but you can also go really quickly in whatever direction you want to go. Highly recommend this specific auto build. Once again, once you like your results, you can open up you can open up your auto build rune and favorite the build, and then build it wherever and whenever you want for 9 Zonite. This is personally my favorite version of the Hoverstick. So once again, a final warning. For this next tip, I'm going to show a feature that only unlocks once you've beaten the first main event in Rito Village. The game heavily steers you to go there first, so I'm assuming a lot of you have already done it. But if not, this is the perfect time to leave this video, because I don't want this feature to be spoiled for you. But once again, I'm going to get into it now. Warning, Tulin has a very powerful ability. He sends you forward every time you press A in the air with the paraglider. And we can abuse this quite heavily. I'm going to show it to you twice here, once in the air. So I will use this wind gust, but close my paraglider and open it every once in a while again. And you can see it quite well here already. Every time I close my paraglider, I still have forward momentum. This is what right now we refer to as Tulin pumping. I'll wait for his ability to come back here. Now that we are closer to the ground, it will be even more visible. Use the ability, close the glider, and reopen it every once in a while. And you can see, whenever I close the glider, I still have forward momentum. See how I still basically get sent forward? This is how you can kind of like extend the duration of the forward wind gust, and it can be super powerful when trying to go from one island to another. Once again, a little bit game breaking maybe, so keep in mind you might not want to use it all the time. You might miss out on some puzzles the developers put there for a reason, but if you want to just get to places, this can be extremely useful. So yeah, the next tip is something that has recently become really popular already. I still want to talk about it because I think it's very broken. I honestly am not using it myself. I'm not using it in my playthrough because I think it breaks the game too much, but I still wanted to talk about it in case you want to take advantage of it. Maybe you only want to use it like once, and this is material duplication. Yes, this has already been found, and what makes it so powerful is that all you need is essentially 2 bows and whatever item you want to duplicate. I'm going to be using a palm fruit here, just so I'm not giving away other items, but you could, for example, do this with valuable materials. You could max out your battery that way. It's a little bit too broken for me to use casually, but I wanted to talk about it anyway. So what you do, and I'm gonna explain it slowly if you want to do it, is essentially you fuse an item, in my case the palm fruit here, to your arrow. You press B, this way it's just stuck to it, right? Basically the palm fruit is stuck in the bow. You pause the game, you unequip, essentially drop, not just unequip, sorry, you drop the bow that your item is stuck to and equip another bow. Now, this is the hardest part. You want to unpause the game and immediately pause again. I had more success with double pressing plus on my controller. Others like pressing B and then plus. The timing compared to Breath of the Wild for this has become a little bit different. But you basically just want to double press plus, and I messed it up there, right? Because I pressed plus again. This is exactly what might happen to you, so we're just going to quickly do it again. Fuse item to the bow. Drop the bow it's attached to. Equip another one. Unpause, pause, and now you have to drop the other bow. It probably worked here because my pausing was pretty good. I'm gonna drop the other bow after I pause again. Pick both of them up. And now I have 3 palm fruits instead of 2. Now, we're gonna do it one more time just so it's one clean process. So basically, fuse palm fruit to your arrow. Press B, so you're just holding it. Drop the bow the item is fused to. Equip another bow. Double pause, like unpause the game and pause again. Drop the bow that it's attached to now. Pick them both up. And now we have 4 palm fruits. It's too powerful, in my opinion. I'm not using it, but I would definitely understand if you maybe wanted to use it to get an extra valuable item because you really want to buy something right now. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets patched, and I'm already aware of a bunch of other really broken glitches that I think might get patched, so I'm not going to talk about any more of those and more casual ones, but I think, yeah, item duplication is probably appealing for some people, so I at least wanted to have explained it here in tip number 3. Now for tip number 4, I'm actually not going to be showing anything. It's kind of like an extension as to why I believe item duplication is even more powerful. And this has to do with item modifiers. We talked about the fact that there's items in the game that have modifiers. This stick here, for example, has the ability to make construct horns even more powerful when fusing them to it. But there's one modifier in the game, and this might be considered a spoiler. It's not a story spoiler, but if you don't want to know about all of the modifiers, again, I'm just warning you every single time. I'm not even going to tell you the name of the modifier, but there's essentially one that makes you deal double damage when you are on 1 HP. And why is this so powerful? There was actually a charm in Hollow Knight, which obviously was a very popular game, where there was a charm that did the same effect. You actually did 75% more damage there when you were on 1 HP, but it's actually stronger in this game. And that's because there is an effect that you can get. And I'm gonna stay super vague about this. If you know, you know, sort of thing, right? There's an effect in the game that allows you to lose rupees instead of health. Not gonna tell you how to get it, but if you know, you know. And now think about it. If you have item duplication, and you can essentially get as many items as you want, super valuable ones, sell them all, and have a super stacked rupee bank. And you have an effect where you lose rupees instead of health. All you need to do at this point is get to 1 HP, sell all of your valuable duplicated items, use that effect so you now lose rupees instead of health, and have 100% uptime on your weapon modifier. You will constantly deal double damage without any risks. Now, this is a combo that you might want to use for fun, you might want to absolutely demolish a certain enemy, but of course this is completely game breaking. And I personally, again, won't be using it. This is just a tip for people that want to have a little bit of fun. Maybe after you've, killed a specific enemy you really wanted to kill, you can stop using this trick. But again, wanted to talk about it, maybe some of you will have some fun with it. Basically, the 1 health effect combined with the losing rupees instead of health effect makes for some absolutely ridiculous combat combinations. So if you want to give it a try, this is going to be tip number 4. Let's say there's an island up here and it's raining. And I see that I probably have to ascend, but you know what? I found these springs in one of the Zonai device dispensers. And one tip that people don't really know yet, even though the game teaches you this, springs stack. You can stick them together to kind of amplify their effect. So I built this tower of springs, now I'm gonna hit it. And suddenly, I'm up here. How convenient. Of course, you will use those springs, but once again, you could essentially make a triple or quadruple spring tower in your auto build selection to reach places quickly that are really high up. If you can't figure out how to get there, maybe it's raining and you are just too lazy to figure it out. So spring stack, make use of that if you want to. They can give you a ton of height. Let's say this spicy pepper stick is the favorite of my weapons I've ever made. I just really like hitting enemies with spicy peppers. There is actually a way in this game to repair your weapons. And no, it doesn't have anything to do with the fuse rune in general. There's other ways that kind of relate to that too, but it's even easier. Once again, I'm not actually going to be showing it to you because it's in an area that you might want to find yourself. But there is an enemy in this game that some of you might know from Breath of the Wild that essentially sucks up your weapons. I liked calling them the suck Octoroks previously. Some people disagreed with that name, but that's essentially what they do. And if you throw a weapon towards them that's almost broken, they will suck it up, spit it back out, and it's gonna be repaired. So if you ever have a favorite weapon that you want to use for a little bit more and you have one of the suck Octoroks around, maybe try it out. They can even give your weapons modifiers. And it's not just a playground rumor. In my stream, people constantly basically told me that this is a thing, and I didn't believe it because in Breath of the Wild this only worked with rusty weapons. Maybe it has to do with the fact that a lot of the weapons in this game are decayed. But go ahead and try out the Suck Octorok Weapon Repair. Now, for my last tip, and this is going to be a more general one again, it seemed like a lot of people enjoyed kind of like a general tip at the end of the last video, and this time it's going to be one again. And first of all, before I tell you this tip, you go wherever you want in this world. You want to go underground? Go. You want to go to the Great Plateau? Go. You want to go to the volcano? You want to go to the castle? You want to beat the final boss? The first thing you do, I don't even know if this is possible, by the way. I'm literally just making this up. Do that or try it. You go where you want. This is your journey. But, and this is just my personal tip. Yesterday, when I played this game, I reached an island in the sky that was previously kind of covered by a perpetual thunderstorm. I'm not going to tell you what this island is. I'm not going to tell you how to get there. But if you make one decision, as a tip from me, do not go to that island until you feel like it's the right time. And you know when you feel like it's the right time. Going at that specific timing and the lead up to that specific point was, for me, the moment it clicked that this is my favorite game I've ever played. And this is a very personal tip. Once again, maybe I've just made you curious about this place and you want to explore it right away. If that's the case, do that. But I want to give you that tip. Maybe some of you will follow it and will agree with me afterwards. Maybe some of you won't. So once again, it's up to you. But I wanted to give you one personal tip that for me actually ended up enhancing my experience. Once again, you do what you want. But if there's one thing that I kind of backseat you with, that's the one that would be important to me. I'm very glad that I didn't try to go there before. You do what you want, but once again, I just wanted to give you that tip on the road. Once again, I hope you learned something useful, and if not, that's fine as well. I hope you're enjoying the game just as much as I am. This is literally an absolutely unreal game. Every day I'm playing it, I still get surprised after like 70 hours now at this point. How this game is real? I do not know, but I'm grateful that we get to experience it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.